Lilo and Stitch 2025 is a soulless, artless cash grab directed by Dean Fleischer Camp for $100 million. It has already made $341 million worldwide and broke Memorial Day weekend box office records. We will never escape the slop avalanche that is Disney live-action movies now. Spoiler alert for Mickey Mouse's latest regurgitation. This piece of Bob Iger's butt buffet misses the point of the original while trying its own spin. With less aliens and more sister drama, Ohana once meant no one is left behind or forgotten, so it's nice to see Nani just leave her sister and give up full control to the state government. All hail government and commercialization of native land. Ooh, can I buy merchandise of this horrible blue gremlin anywhere? Not to mention all the fun side characters have been washed out like the color grading and flanderized worse than season 9 Dwight Schrute. Kids and general audiences seem to be eating it up though, so I guess we reap what we sow. I can't wait for the Moana live action remake next year where we learn that Moana shouldn't actually leave her island and instead stay at Aulani Disney Resort and Spa. This movie sucks. Please don't give it any more money. Anyway, here's our full review from the Binge Warmers podcast.
Let's just get into overall impressions.
So I thought immediately watching it, I'm like, oh good, they're kind of doing something different, because that's a big complaint for me is like Disney remakes don't do enough different to even like, qualify an existence. So I was thinking like maybe they're going to do less alien stuff, more family drama stuff. And I was kind of into that because I like the family drama of like, two sisters looking after each other once their parents had passed, and it's really hard, and there's like no real resources for the 19-year-old sister to take care of her 6-year-old sister. The very sad, interesting story you got there, and then you throw the aliens in because it's a kids movie and Disney's there, and you even Stitch, his kind of arc kind of seeps back into finding your own family and all this stuff. So I love the first one, and I'm kind of thinking like maybe more of a focus on the family drama stuff is good, but they actually don't follow through with that at all.
No. The drama is very, very thin.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's very in-depth. And then seeing like people like, because we sat with it for a little bit. At the end of the movie, I said I didn't really care for it that much, and you were like, no, I think I like it. But then like watching people do like side-by-sides, I was like, man, the animated show actually goes deeper with the family themes while still being able to balance the alien stuff really well.
Yeah.
And
it's
I remember
a tight movie, that first one.
It's so tight, and it's so good. It works so well.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an interview with the director, and they said, we tried to make Gantu work, but then we realized there wasn't enough room for Gantu and the stuff we were doing with the family drama stuff.
It just didn't work so well in live action. In trying to ground these characters more and tell a story with a little more emotional depth, especially between the sisters, you have to free up real estate to allow that breathing room to do those things.
How was there not enough room? Because there was the family drama stuff was so skin deep. Like there wasn't really a deepness.
And we're all about deepness here at Binge Warmers. Hi, I'm Hopper from editing, and I just wanted to let you know that we would deeply appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and hit the notification bell to be notified when a new video comes out. You can find every episode of our podcast for free on Spotify, and it's also on YouTube for members. Whoa, look, a Disney villain bracket. That sounds awesome. You should also check out our Discord server. We're fostering an incredible community there. I love it so much, and I love you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Take it away, Steven.
There were some good things to it. There were some good hype moments.
What I'll say, I think I loved it. I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. So I'm like, well, it did some interesting new stuff. But what it did well, it reverses by the end of it. You know what I mean?
The movie opens up with the alien scene where they're trying to see if Stitch is even worthy of life, kind of thing. If they're going to exile him, banish him, all that kind of stuff. And that whole scene is very rushed. You're watching it in the movie theater, and you can tell that they were just like, get it through here. Get through here. We need to get on Hawaii. We need to get on Earth. It played like you were watching a bunch of trailers mashed together. I didn't like it at all. They do a few lines from the original movie, and you'll notice this throughout the entire film. The lines that come from the original movie felt so forced in this movie that it's like they were just going through the motion. I didn't like any time that they quoted the original movie. I was like, this feels so forced. It doesn't feel natural.
You sure that's a dog? I think this is a common theme with Disney live action remakes. I think to the point where I'm gonna say it's Disney like enforcing that, or Disney like wanting specific lines or specific moments from the originals in the live actions.
But then they take the actual moments from those movies that actually mean something, and they take them away completely.
Yeah.
Point in case with this movie is the ugly duckling scene is not in the movie.
Yeah.
That's a very big pivotal moment for Stitch in the movie. And, he realizes there's something wrong with him. He wants more than to just destroy. So when he actually wants it, he can't get it, though. He's looking for his ugly duckling family, and no one comes,
Yeah. And then he finds So he finds his family with Lilo and Nani and everybody, and then like by the end of it, he's chained. You know, he's going to sacrifice himself and go back, and he's all locked up in his little thing, and he says, "Well, can I say goodbye, Stitch? This is Stitch's family.
Yeah.
You know, it's small and it's broken, but it's mine."
Yeah.
That does not work nearly as well after he like doesn't realize that. You know, what I mean? There's no essential realization.
No, he doesn't realize that because in the movie he just goes back to the pound and sits in there.
Yeah.
And Lilo just comes and says, "No, it's okay. You can come with. You're bad a few times, but you're not bad overall." And it's like the emotional depth just isn't there in this movie. And I even told Hopper, there's points in this movie where when I'm watching it, I feel like it's a Disney original film. Like it's just very.
I think the alien stuff felt like that for me. Like Jumba and Pleakley
looked terrible.
Yeah.
First off.
Well, and that's the thing too. This movie, you really feel the budget. Like you don't want to feel the budget. And it's a $100 million movie, so like a pretty good budget.
Yeah.
But you definitely felt like they were rushing through alien scenes. They didn't put Gantu in. They didn't do Jumba and Pleakley wearing disguises. They they turn into humans to kind of disguise themselves.
Pleakley cross-dressing is like a hype thing in the first.
It's a hype thing.
Yeah, it's so funny how many.
Yeah, he's cross-dressing.
He's got the fourth wig on. The fourth wig has hit the tower.
More. I guess more than hype. It's funny. Like that's a funny character.
Yeah.
In this, he's just like a milquetoast, boring motherfucker.
He looks like Alan Tudyk's buff son.
No, but Stitch looks pretty good
Stitch
as far as
looks good.
CGI wise goes.
They put a lot of money into Stitch.
You can tell where their budget actually went to. There's like really good lighting in the movie. Like there's a part where he crashes a wedding and you see like a couple snapshots of people like taking pictures of it.
That's a fun scene.
It's kind of fun, but like when you do the pictures, he's like overexposed and bright, like the flash like over lit him. You know, I'm like that was really good. Like there's a couple moments like that where I'm like Stitch is real and he's a real guy and he's just hanging out.
But then you see Pleakley, and you see Pleakley looks like the stuff in Nightmares.
Yeah, Pleakley looks terrible.
Jumba too, like his second eyes look really bad.
He looks like they call him a hairy potato, and I'm like, you look more like a deformed guinea pig, like a hairless guinea pig or something.
Yeah, and he's voiced by Zach Galifianakis. One of the things we talked about that makes Jumbo work is the mad scientist accent.
Yeah,
you don't get that.
He talked about that in the interview. He's like, Zach Galifianakis basically was like, what do you guys want me to do?
I told them, tell me what to do. I don't know what happens. I don't know how those decisions are made. Like, no German, no Russian, no accents. Or maybe they're like, maybe I did do a Russian accent. They're like, that sounds like he's Chinese. I mean, I can't really do voices anyway, so maybe that was what it was.
Yeah. He was basically like, well, I can't really do voices anyway, so I guess that works.
Yeah. So dumb. It's just, how do you make something like Lilo and Stitch and then just be so out of touch with your own films?
That was poorly casted. And I like Zach Galifianakis. I think he's a funny guy. I don't think for that kind of evil genius scientist character, you want like his voice attached, you know.
And then when you take out Gantu, you don't get the redemption from Jumba either. He just stays as the bad guy throughout the whole movie. I don't like that because I like him getting his own little mini redemption to where he works and becomes part of the family.
He has like a full arc in the movie. He's like fascinated by the fact that Stitch is a murder machine, a killing machine that grows to love and, you know, want kindness and want love and have a family and stuff. He doesn't understand that, so he's kind of like fascinated the whole time. And by the end of the movie, Stitch is like, I need Jumba to help me get Lilo back. And he's like, okay. Like, it's very much like, yeah, I've been having this arc this whole time. You've been working on me. You didn't even know you were working on me.
Because you can go as deep as to say Jumba is Stitch. He made Stitch really in his own image of like, this is all I can do. But then he sees Stitch go against that and he goes, well, maybe I can also be a good guy. You know?
Exactly. And Pleakley's just cross-dressing. He's just
cross-dressing. And there's a moment when he's going to bed and he's like, what are you doing? And he turns around, Pleakley's like wearing the wig, looking in the mirror type thing. You know, that's funny. It adds depth to the characters that you just don't get.
Whether they wanted to or not, that's sort of queer representation.
Yeah, there you go.
Because he's still wearing a wig by the end of it. Like into the series, he's like Aunt Pleakley.
Yes, dude. He loves wearing dresses.
So
makes him feel special.
Yeah, man.
Go for it, Pleakley. Live your truth.
Both those characters, all the alien stuff in this, I just didn't care for. I kind of wish they just did away with it entirely to be like.
And then it's just not Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, exactly. It's just Lilo and Nani at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
You also get like the neighbor aspect in the new movie, and we both realize it takes away a lot of stakes because throughout the whole movie, you're like, this neighbor who's like a grandma to them essentially is like helping them, taking care of them, and you're thinking early on, she can just adopt Lilo.
Yeah.
And then everything's fixed. Mm-hmm. And then that's what happens by the end of it.
It's like she's in the original, and why it works so well, she's disenfranchised. And I don't know if this is like a Hawaiian thing. I've seen some reviews of people saying that's kind of why they're disenfranchised, is because they're natives of Hawaii, and the United States doesn't really care about the people. They just care about the land and the pretty beaches, right?
Yeah.
So Cobra Bubbles is like this sort of sort of like this representation of the states and like their overwhelming authority, and it's like, you know, you don't really look into the situation deeper than like, you're not really taking care of Lilo, we're going to take her away and all this stuff. So by giving her a neighbor to lean on, it shouldn't be as stressful for her anyway.
Yeah.
The neighbor
can
already
just
takes her
watch
to
Lilo.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just the neighbor can help if you've lost a job or put them on their insurance, you know.
She's already, I mean, even like that stuff, but like she's already taking care of Lilo because she takes her to the pound to like see the dogs and stuff. They changed that up from the original. That's a case. That's like a very much case by case why you shouldn't do a remake like this, right?
Yeah.
You get the she's praying to the star, or she's like wishing on the star. Please send me an angel, your best angel to help me out. And then Nani hears it in this movie. She also hears it,
Yeah.
but she doesn't do a single thing about it in the movie.
Yeah.
The neighbor takes her to the dog park or to the town.
It was
and she
like a
wants to go to the
farmer's
pound.
market, and she just went to the pound.
Yeah, and so if my neighbor who was taking care of my, you know, my de facto daughter brings home a dog, I'd be like, you're an asshole. Why did you do that?
She does say that, but then the old lady's like, she needs it. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is, like, in the original movie, Nani hears this and he goes, I'll get her a dog.
Yeah.
I'll get her a dog.
Makes more
That'll
sense.
Help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about it more, too, makes me realize how much worse it was. There were good moments. There were sometimes when you have a deep moment with Nani,
Yeah.
like talking to the old lady, or with Lilo talking to Stitch, that you feel like it was there.
Yeah.
Like the makings of that movie. And to throw back to what you were saying earlier, for you, when they make these live-action remakes, it needs to be different enough to warrant making the live-action remake. For me, it's all about the balance, which I said in a previous podcast. But you have to have enough of the original to keep people being like, this is the movie I grew up with, but enough new to warrant the live-action remake, right?
Yeah.
No one wants a one-to-one remake, because they did that with The Lion King, and everyone was like, why even make the movie?
It's just a worse version of the first one.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, like, sometimes I don't think they ever hit that mark. I think they've hit that mark like twice. Beauty and the Beast and The Jungle Book,
Yeah.
really.
I think there's the Jungle Book line of like, you know, here's the, you know, there's too much original and then there's like not enough original.
Yeah.
This one strikes the perfect balance of like, we're doing something new, but we're kind of calling back to the book and making the story make more sense. But we're also going to keep like designs and songs and like the vibe of the original, without going too crazy either way. Like it was perfect for what it was at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you get something like Aladdin that stayed too true to the old movie, but didn't do enough new. But then also did terribly with the old stuff, like in a live action form. And it begs the question at this point: why are they still doing it? They can see that. At best, it's mixed reviews on these movies.
You want to talk about the budget and the box office, because it's tracking to make $170 million on $100 million budget just for this weekend, looking to shatter Memorial Day box office records.
170 for $100 million budget though isn't that good anymore.
It's because of the opening weekend. Yes, it is. I mean, they're going to keep this in theaters for at least a couple weeks and make like a ton of money. Most movies don't even make their budget back in the opening weekend anymore.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
reviewing okay with critics. It's like a 69%. I think that's kind of what I was going to say earlier is like, it's for what it is as its own little thing. It's something like, it's not like, I wouldn't call it horrible.
No.
But it's definitely like, if you compare it to the original that it's based on, it's like
it's bad.
Way worse.
Yeah, it's way worse.
And I think a lot of that, and the main problem I have with it is that Lilo is given up by the end of it. Like Nani gives her up, but then they don't even stick to that decision because like there's a portal gun situation, so they come back with a portal. Yeah,
because we were talking about it on the way home. Like there's stakes to the point where they both come to realize they're better separate, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way the story's going.
Even though
I don't agree with it,
they try to do the theme of Ohana means family and family means no one gets left behind. Here goes Nani leaving everyone behind.
So Nani goes. They say no. I'm going to stay with the lady, and you can go to college. We need to go our separate ways, grow, and then come back to each other. Cool, whatever, if you want to take the movie that way. And then 5 minutes later, Nani has a f***ing portal gun from the aliens, and she's able to just come back to Hawaii anyway.
It's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
Like you can't do both of those things.
Ohana means family, but we can split apart, but then we'll come back anyway because we're family. Yeah. It makes no sense.
Also, in the original, Nani is so ingrained in that culture of like where she is and where she lives. It's kind of sacrilegious to have her going to the mainland to do biology.
I know when they said this is the best school in the country for marine biology, I thought it was going to be a school in Hawaii.
Yeah, sure.
And then they said it was what was it?
I forget.
It was like San Francisco University or something like that. And I was like, huh? That's better than Hawaii?
I mean, there's way more marine biology in Hawaii, we would think.
Gotta be, right? Cobra Bubbles is completely different in this.
I don't like that it was like from the beginning, I guess because the original exists, you know he's already a CIA agent. But I was thinking, like, okay, we're getting rid of Gansu to really focus on the drama of, like, the family stuff and, like, less about the aliens. But then they, like, introduce the neighbor character and the extra social worker who was Nani's voice actress in the first one. And that kind of feels like they're adding more and convoluting it more than it needed to be.
Yeah.
They could have just had Cobra be the guy from the beginning. That makes more sense. And you cut out a character you don't need to have. You know what I mean?
And then, which they have, it is nice that it's David's, like, mom or grandma, you know?
Yeah.
So it makes sense why she would be in the movie.
You know.
But also, just...
Do you also think it's like, well, we can't make a Hawaiian movie without this actress because she's in, like, every single movie that's in
is
Hawaii.
she really? I knew she looked familiar.
Like 50 First Dates. She's even a voice actress in the first Lilo and Stitch. She's, like, in all these different... Like, if it's, like, a Hawaiian lady, it's going to be this lady.
That is wild.
Kind of wild.
Yeah, I think, honestly, after us talking about it more, too, when we first watched it, I said, like, a 6.5. I think I give it, like, a 5 out of 10.
I'm hitting around 5, maybe like 4 or 5.
Yeah. It's just... it's disappointing, you know? And I don't know why. We were both kind of like, after watching all of these Disney movies, why did we go in there thinking it was going to be any different?
Because Stitch looks really good.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to focus more so on the family stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know what I was hopeful for.
Yeah.
They should quit doing this. Even though, like, the Snow White didn't make much money, this one made a ton of money. I know they're thinking about sequels for this.
Yeah.
And it makes kind of sense if you look at, like, the series.
There are sequels to the Stitch that are a lot less, you know, in depth.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, there's more stories to tell in this universe. Stitch has gone... I don't know if you know how much about it, but, like, there was 3 made-for-TV movies. There was one to introduce the series, one to end the series, and then there was one separate that was kind of like
I've watched
between
all
the
of them.
series.
There's one with a red evil Lilo and Stitch.
Leroy is his name.
Yeah.
That's the one that ends the series, I think.
Yeah.
He's like 627, which actually got a little cameo in this, if you remember.
And then the next one, the direct next sequel, was the one that kickstarts the TV show. Where all the balls like fall to Earth, kind of thing.
Then there was Lilo and Stitch 2. Stitch has a glitch, but that's like separate from the show.
Yeah.
And then they did an anime, something, and then there was another one too. There was like another series, and then there was like an anime, and then it's essentially Stitch in Japan.
Really?
And he's with a different girl, and then you find out that like there was some some weird like miscommunication. But he finds Lilo again, and he's like, "Oh, Lilo, I missed you, and I love you, and everything." Turns out that's Lilo's daughter. Lilo's grown up, and she's like, "This is my daughter now."
No way.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. A lot of lore for Stitch that they could explore.
They could really, you know.
Or just change it up completely.
Is there anything in this that you thought did better or you liked about?
No.
I thought Lilo was kind of charming. I think
Lilo was
actress.
just as charming as the Lilo from the original.
Oh, I disagree. I think she's much more charming in the original because she's like, she's weirder and she's got like a more of a because in this one,
I was gonna point this out. I completely forgot until just now. She gave that sandwich at the beginning. That sandwich did not look wet at all. It looked like a dry sandwich in the water.
I noticed that exact same thing.
When I saw that, I said, "That is a dry ass sandwich." Mm-hmm. That cracked me up.
In the original, like in this one, she kind of pushes the girl that's mean to her.
Yeah.
In the original, she's up on top of her like
pounding, dude.
Boom.
And you don't feel the stress that she's at when she's like Puff controls the weather because in this one she's just saying it all as she's getting changed.
Yeah.
And it's like this is actually a pretty serious moment in the movie. I don't think you realize.
It's where everyone's like, "Oh, she thinks a fish controls the weather. She's really weird."
Exactly.
But in this, it doesn't even feel like that really.
Yeah.
I kind of like the focus they put on the resorts. Like it feels like this town is really about this resort.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, is this Disney just trying to like make it okay that like they're taking over land?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt. Even in the original, it was like this guy with his mint chocolate chip ice cream. It was like this white kind of tourist guy who's like sunburned all over. And he keeps...
They make it a native.
They make it a native guy, and it's like a snow cone. I thought that was such a bad decision.
No, because
like,
that's totally an outsider trying to chill and being... I think it works better as like a white... This is the part where the race kind of matters a little bit.
A little bit in this. And you see Lilo, she keeps like taking pictures of people in the original because she's like... They're probably doing it to her, you know what I mean? Like she's probably just... Or either that's like...
That's a good point.
Yeah, either that's like what she knows because that's what everyone does to her. And there's this weird deleted scene. I like it, actually. But it's like, oh, a little native girl. And they're like kind of like gossiping about it and stuff. And then she's like... There's a weather siren, like they're just gonna test it out, but we're gonna make it seem like there's a tsunami. So she like goes and freaks everyone out.
That's awesome.
And then Cobra Bubble sees it and she goes, "If you lived here, you'd understand."
Yeah, dude, that makes so much sense. Though she takes pictures of people in the original because all of them are tourists, so of course they're gonna take pictures of her. Dude,
it's crazy.
You're awesome.
I didn't come up with that at all. I heard that in the video I watched.
That makes so much sense, though. So it makes so much sense that he's a white dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's.
At this point, it just makes it sad for a Hawaiian man. Just keeps losing his slushy.
I know,
for
poor
no
guy.
reason.
I think 5
Yeah.
is right on, because it's not like horrible. I think it got like a 69 on Rotten Tomatoes right now from critics and stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably, that's probably generous. I think as a movie as a whole, like it's fine, like it's whatever. But just as a remake of Lilo and Stitch, like one of the better kind of Disney movies in the past couple decades, I don't think it holds up like whatsoever.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know what you thought, what you were upset about, what you were happy about. Did you like it compared to how we liked it? Did you like the changes? Did you not like the changes? All that, leave it down in the comments down below.